Volusia Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast to Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars.
We are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman here with Shaggy TV, and we're here to bring you 2 of the 3 races tonight. Travis Piercefield should be around for race number 3. That's going to be the Pro Lates coming up last. But first, the 358 Modifieds, brought to you by Full Throttle Motorsports and the Venom Racing teams. Rivals on the racetrack, friends off of it, coming together, putting together the money for the sponsorship this season. Couldn't do it without the camaraderie of those guys. It's awesome. I just like to make a big deal out of that because they really are. I mean, they aren't rivalries as in they wreck each other, but man, you know, you run this quick, you're going to get pretty good. And I was worried here I did that. So you get to see a little behind the scenes here real quick. Because I tried to edit this camera here for interviews that you're going to see later on. And I didn't realize it was an actual TV camera. So we'll stay around one more time. And then in between races, it looks like Shaggy's got a little bit of work to do. Yeah, that's going to be okay. Zoomed in too much for us here, but right now Anthony Morano working off the bumper of his teammate there in the 79, Dean Reynolds. Two of the co-sponsors here of this race. Gary Offit here in the 94, that SRC machine. Brandon Geiswhite out there rooting for FTM. Let's see here. What other... We have 27 guys tonight. What's going on in some of the other rooms? Who's on this racetrack? We got Randy Shreves out there. Harold Klump in the deuce. I believe that's a new paint job. I don't think I've seen that one before. I dig that thing. Nice paint job there, Harold. He's pulling off. We got the 122. Brian Dickens in a new scheme as well. As always, dirt track bank off the front, though, of that thing. That's a key part of the 122. Ooh, and then Shaggy got caught sleeping. The checkered flag waves. We're going to get ready to roll into qualifying. Now remember, they do invert based on qualifying. So 20, let's see. Got to think 3 heats probably. So the money spot would most likely be, what are we going to say here? Round 12th. Well, let's see. Kurt Schatzer here as he comes around for lap number 1. Superman got the cape flap. Got the cape flapping in the breeze, excuse me. That 218 rolling the high side right now. And I wouldn't be surprised, depending on what this lap time looks like. As we start to see times tick in. Trevor Giroux at the top of the 1688. But Kurt Schatzer, purple, he put it right where you wanted to be. Thought maybe we'd see him flirt with the bottom here second time around. Doesn't feel like he needs it. Spider Monkey Brandon Dittmer after 1 trip around. He's rolling P2. Almost identical laps as Kurt. He's going to take the inside through 3 and 4. He tightens up, gets into the outside wall, and he's got a little bit of work to do here before he lines that thing up for the feature. Sam Bachman comes around. 1 lap. Look at those lap times here. So Bachman and Dittmer tied at least to the 100th of a second. So we can't see anything past that. Bachman not going to get any quicker his second time around. Doesn't need to. He'll be happy with that effort. Let's go see here. The 110 of Kelly Wheeler. He's out here on his second lap. And Kelly, fine time in Sector 2. He does speed up a little bit, but he was slower in Sector 1. And Kelly Wheeler going to stay P21 as that does it for qualifying, as some drivers were out there on the racetrack. Just ran out of time, so let's take a look here at the starting lineup. Heat race number 1. Rounding out the field. Starting on the inside of row number 5 in the 093, Craig Bristol. Row number 4 on the top shelf in the 513. That's the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. And to his inside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. The 93 of Butters, Jason Butterfields, takes the high side in row number 3. And to his inside, the 94 of Gary Offit. Your quick time winner with the invert means he's going to be starting on the outside of row number 2. That's the 218 of Superman, Kurt Schatzer, and to his inside, the 444 of Scott Rayone. Row number 1 for heat race number 1 at the Volusia Speedway, starting on the outside, the 9 of Brian Lawson, and to his inside, the 213 of Michael Vitale. Already getting a little bit of overlay problems. I'm so glad I have enough time to do it for you guys, because as you see, that green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Heat race number 1 is underway here at the Volusia Speedway. Side by side, Brian Lawson tries to pinch Vitale down, but Vitale going to move him up a little bit. He comes up front in front of Superman. He does a little bit of a wheel hop, the 218. Man, that could have been bad for Kurt. He's able to recover, hold on, and Butters behind him, being very patient in that 93, lets him gather it up. Superman thinks about driving up on that top shelf, but Scotty shut the door. And now Butters takes a peek on the inside as Brian Lawson watches the beating and banging out of that rearview mirror. And here comes Superman, cape flapping. Boy, oh boy, aggressive as ever, but he's making it work. That 218 up to P2, and Butters, he started 6th, up 3 spots here in the early going, knowing you don't want to have to run your way in through that B main. And right now, the 213 of Michael Vitale, he is in that 4th and final transfer spot. But here comes Gary Offit in the 94 as we come out of 4 laps to go. Plenty of time for Gary Offit to come up here and try to go to work on Butters, who's kind of stuck in the back of that train. Butters clearly has a quick race car. He's been moving on up through the field. Not showing how difficult it is to pass here at Volusia sometimes. You don't want to get shuffled down to that inside and watch a guy drive around the outside, but if you're Butters and you're paying attention to that rear view mirror here, now's the time where you can get aggressive. And look, he does. He sends it in. They touch through 3 and 4. 2 laps to go. 2 fingers in the air. Vitale giving him no room. And all of a sudden, Gary Offit licking his lips. Let's take a peek off the front nose. Those guys beating and banging, rattling each other's cage. White flag flies. Will they make contact one more time? Can Gary Offit get into the mix? Brian Lawson comes down the backstretch for the final time here at the Volusia Speedway, looking to start on the pole for tonight's feature, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Brian Lawson, Kurt Schatzer, Michael Vitale, and Jason Butterfield to the A main. Gary Offit, Bob DeGood, Craig Bristol, Scott Rayome, and Jeff Barker to the B. So we take a look at the starting lineup here for your Full Throttle Motorsports Venom Racing Heat Race number 2. Rounding out the field on the inside of row number 5 in the 143, Scott Zeneker. On the outside of row number 4, that 247 of Michael Vecchio, and lined up to his inside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. Row number 3 to the outside, the 81 of Mike Weeda, into his inside, the 4 of Greg Parmalee. Row number 2 on the outside in the 007, the Samaconda Samuel Bachman, and to his inside, the 5 of Isaac Slide Job Salas. Row number 1 for heat race number 2 on the outside, the 011 of Randall Dixon, and starting on the pole, the 122 of Brian Dickens. Brian Dickens, he's already won a feature this season. Could he do it again here? Will he have any luck in heat race number 2? This is everybody knows. I mean, this is literally half the battle right here. You want to make it through the heat races and finish as far up front as you can. Meaning, you know, that's the further up front you're going to start in the feature tonight. So, Brian, looking to take that new paint job, at least new to me. You know, maybe he'll tell me different if he can talk to me at the end of this thing, but it's a pretty snazzy paint job. Don't believe I've seen that before. See if that X Factor 122 dirt track bank machine can find a way to bring it home. 8 laps to play in the clay at Volusia Speedway. Heat race number 2 is underway. The green flag flies. Isaac Salas hoping Brian gets a little aggressive there, slides up, but he doesn't. Isaac wanted to find a lane down there, but Brian, skilled, experienced, holds the bottom, shuts the door, slide job through 3 and 4. Brian Dickens, your leader after lap 1. Isaac Salas putting the pressure on here as we have a battle for 5th and 6th as well. Michael Vecchio to the outside of the 4 of Greg Parmalee. But the Samaconda makes it 3 wide, slithers his way downstairs. Isaac, he realizes that. He falls back in line, maybe knows he's jumping a little bit. Couple lag spikes out of that 5 of Isaac Salas. No harm right now, but, well, as soon as I say that, that's a little bit of a bigger one, and that 7 car may not like that so much. Gets up there pretty close there. Gives him a little bump, I'd imagine. It's letting him know, hey, man, I'm pretty quick. You're bouncing in and out. This is not an easy task right now, but you take a look at that lead. Brian Dickens, about a 3/4 of a second gap. Can Randall Dixon eat back into that? It just doesn't look like it. He's overdriving the center of these corners, and Brian Dickens escaping here on exit as they get oh so close. Sam Bachman tries to weasel his way on through, but not enough room for the 7. As you see here, I mean, he's that close. Oh, there Isaac comes into the picture. As we roll on board, I was going to see if they were going to touch again, but 2 laps to go. And I think Sam realizes he's got to wind back up here. He's got to get momentum for one last hurrah, because the 122 of Brian Dickens, he's rolling through 3 and 4, and we're watching that white flag fly. One more trip around for the X Factor Dirt Track Bank Media 122. I don't know why I always say Dirt Track Bank Media, Brian. I'm sorry. We both know I'm wrong, and you can pick on me later. Final time through 3 and 4. Brian Dickens going to start on the outside of the front row for tonight's feature. Randall Dixon, Isaac Salas, and Sam Bachman punch their ticket. Greg Parmalee, Randy Shreves, Michael Vecchio, Scott Zeneker, and Mike Weeda to the B main. And as we get ready for our 3rd and final heat race here at the Volusia Speedway, rounding out the field on the inside of row number 5 in that 390, Mike Brewer. To the outside of row number 4, that's Blackjack John Tobias in the 21. Into his inside, the 110 of Kelly Wheeler. Row number 3 on the outside, the Deuce of Harold Klump. Into his inside, the 79 of Dino Dean Reynolds. Row number 2 to the outside in the 83, the Spider Monkey Brandon Dittmer. And to his inside, that 075 of the Philly Flyer, Trevor Giroux. Row number 1 for your 3rd and final heat race. Got a set of teammates on the outside in the 32, the Magic Ant-Man Anthony Morano. And starting on the pole, the 051 of Putt Putt Clay Christopherson. Gonna have to try and retype that in here after warm-up, see if we can get that double stack to go away. But final time through 3 and 4. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 8 laps to play. Your 3rd and final heat race is underway. The Philly Flyer looking to find some grip downstairs, trying to push Putt Putt along. If anybody can run the bottom, it's that 51. And if he decides to go upstairs, I don't know if I necessarily like the bottom anymore, because Putt Putt, there's something down there. He's going to use it. Now he goes back to the bottom in 1 and 2. Likes the moisture on exit, and so does that 075. The Philly Flyer flies himself on up to P2. Trevor Giroux, he's got the bottom rolling in there. 4 wide behind. Harold Klump, Kelly Wheeler, Dean Reynolds. He's right up in front of it, but Blackjack Brewer, oh man, they are racing hard in the Spider Monkey. Trying to weasel his way under that 79. He sticks the right front under, but just can't complete it. Dino with a big send here is Brandon. Tries to counter back on the outside, but he overdrives the corner a little bit. Now all of a sudden, Harold Klump, Kelly Wheeler, they look to his inside. Harold falls back in line, but with 4 to go, we're halfway. Putt Putt liking what he sees out front, that 051. Loves that low line. Coming out of 3 and 4, 3 to go. As you see, Dean Reynolds, man, able to move into that 4th and final transfer spot, but can he hold on? Got a lot of dogs behind him. And with the way they're battling in front, Dino might look to get one more. The Philly Flyer just can't get under Anthony. It looked like he had P2 there for about a lap and a half. But Anthony able to weasel his way around, and he's got his sights set on his teammate in that 051 as we roll through 3 and 4. White flag in the air, one more trip around. Anthony looking to get that run. He's going to get a big run on the outside, but just not close enough as the final time through 3 and 4. Putt-Putt's going to hold on and win heat race number 3. Anthony Morano, Trevor Giroux, and Dean Reynolds make it to the A main. Brandon Dittmer, Kelly Wheeler, Harold Klump, Mike Brewer, and John DeBias to the B main. So we're gonna find our correct button. There we go. Let's hop on down. Let's take a look at the starting grid here for the B main. 12 drivers going to make it, 3 going to go home. Rounding out the field inside of row number 8 and that 21, John DeBias. Row number 7 on the outside in the 81, Mike Weida into his inside the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Row number 6 on that top shelf, Mike Brewer. The 390 of, sorry, I say Mike twice. That threw me off. Mike Weida, Mike Brewer, that's on Shaggy. Mike Brewer to the outside and do his inside in the 143, Scott Seneker. Row number 5, the 444 of Scott Rayom, and lined up his inside the deuce of Harold Klump. Better speed this up here. Row number 4 to the outside, the 247 of Michael Vecchio, into his inside, Craig Bristol. Row number 3 on that top shelf, Kelly Wheeler to the inside, Randy Shreves. Row number 2, Bob the Good to the outside, the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer on the inside. Row number 1, Greg Parmley, Gary Offit. As the Steve King Foundation pace truck pulls off, the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. We're racing in the B main. Oh my gosh, 3-4 wide through 1. Scott Rayom on that top shelf, trying to find a way to secure his way in tonight. And you know, you don't want to be on that bubble spot. Moves himself on up, but see, you put yourself on the outside 3 wide. I saw the writing on the wall. I followed him for a reason. Gets bounced out one more time. And now all of a sudden, Scott, one spot to the good as Weida gets contacted. He goes around, able to save it, but they're 4 wide for the final transfer spot. Jeff Barker to the inside. The 81 and the 3 on your screen going back and forth for that 12th and final spot. Right now it is John DeBias, but Rayom gets into the outside wall. Now he finds himself on the outside looking in as Weida finds himself in P number 12. That's the 81. Oh, cars up front that are in the show bouncing all around. That's Michael Vecchio in the 747. Or 247, excuse me, as he rolls back through the field. Oh, Weida, he gets pounced on, punched out of the way, and just like that, the 81 finds himself out of the show as Scott Rayom and Jeff Barker battle 11th and 12th. Scott Rayom now maybe thinking about letting Jeff just have it here in that 12th and final transfer spot. Wants to make sure he gets into the show. There's contact up in front. The 093 of Bristol and Mike Brewer have a little conversation through 1 and 2. Bob the Good tries to take a peek downstairs. We haven't talked about him out front. Poor Spider Monkey, but you know, you just want to get yourself into this show, and Brandon, he's doing a great job out front. Just not getting the love because there's so much action back here in the pack. These 12, they are in the show, I remind you. John DeBias, that 3 car, he is the first man on the outside looking in. They do not care. They're racing 3 wide in front of them. 2-3 laps to go. They almost made contact. That's the 7 and the 513. They're teammates. Scott Rayom, he's got to crack the throttle now. Doesn't want to get into the back of Bob the Good, but all of a sudden, Johnny, here he comes. Blackjack on the top shelf. He's reeling these guys in as we come off a 4 white flag flies. Can John find a way to race himself into the show? Brandon Dittmer rolls down the backstretch for the final time. Through 3 and 4, and this Spider Monkey's going to get to do a little bit more racing tonight, along with Greg Parmalee, Randy Shreves, Kelly Wheeler, Gary Offit, Harold Klum, Craig Bristol, Mike Brewer, Scott Rayone, Bob DeGood, Michael Vecchio, and Jeff Barker, John Tobias, Scott Zeneker, and Mike Weeda. Well, better luck next week as we take a short break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be right back with your Full Throttle Motorsports Venom Racing feature here at the Volusia Speedway. We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Anthony Morano, Brian Dickens, Dean Reynolds, your top three at the end of warm-ups. As we get ready to roll into your main event here this evening. See if we can take a look here at the starting lineup. And, well, it doesn't want to behave for me to do it that way. There we go. Now it does. Rounding out the field, starting on the outside of row number 12 in the 513. That's the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. To his inside, the 247 of Michael Vecchio. Row number 11 on the outside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. And to his inside, the 444 of Scott Rayone. Row number 10 on the top shelf, the 390 of Mike Brewer. Into his inside, the 093. It's Bristol, baby, Craig Bristol. Row number 9 on the outside, the Deuce of Harold Klump. And to his inside, the 94 of Gary Offit. Row number 8 on the outside, the 110 of Kelly Wheeler. And lining up on the inside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. Row number 7 on the outside, the 4 of Greg Parmalee. And to his inside, your B main winner in the 83, the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer. Row number 6 to the outside, the 79 of Dino, Dean Reynolds. And to his inside, his teammate in the 007, the Samaconda, Sam Bachman. Row number 5 on the outside, the 93 of Butters, Jason Butterfield. And to his inside, the 075 of the Philly Flyer, Trevor Giroux. Row number 4 on the outside, slide job, Isaac Salas. And to his inside, the 213 of Michael Vitale. Row number 3 on the outside, the 32, the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. And to his inside, the 011 of Randall Dixon. Row number 2 to the outside, the 218 of Superman, Kurt Schatzer. And to his inside, putt-putt, Clay Christopherson. Row number 1, starting on the outside, the 122 of Brian Dickens. And starting on the pole, the 9 of Brian Lawson, as we roll through 3 and 4 for the final time. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 30 laps to play in the clay of Volusia Speedway. We're underway. Good jump for the 122 of Brian Dickens. Gets a big run on the outside, looking to bring his teammate along. Superman, here he comes. Now we got a pair of teammates, 1-2, and that's going to make it tough for the rest of the field. If we can get to the green flag, or the finish line, and lock it up, and they do. They've got it at the line. Teammates hold on to 1-2. Battling here in the middle of the pack as we take a peek. You know what? Let's actually go upstairs. You can see it. 3, 4 wide. Dino there in the middle. He's got to crack the throttle as we're under caution for the first time. Craig Bristol, Bob DeGood. We'll have to see who else was involved. I believe Jeff Barker was involved. Let's take a look here. So we'll have to see where it started, what happened. So the 093 Craig Bristol, he goes around. Bob DeGood, absolutely nowhere to go. Vecchio in the 747 there gets into it a little bit as well, but Barker absolutely nowhere to go as well. Gets on the brakes. Doesn't have too much damage. He'll be able to continue, I'd imagine. Still not what you want to have happen early, and definitely not what you wanted to have happen if you're these two up front. Set of teammates. And I wish I could remember the team name. I really do. God, it's killing me. I know Joe's part of it. I know a lot of the team members, but I just, for the life of me, cannot think of the team name. And as we look around here on the car, I don't see any indicators there of what we could have. Now, Dickens taking the outside. I imagine there will be a little bit of a countdown here for his teammate and what'll happen. Hopefully they get in line together, I think is their plan, if all goes according to plan. But everybody's got a plan till you're punched in the face, and all it takes is one mistake, one hiccup, and all of a sudden it's every man for yourself out here as we roll through 3 and 4. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. We're back underway. Good jump for Brian Dickens, and Kurt Schatzer does exactly that. Slots right up in line and putt-putt. I have to crack that throttle a little bit, putt-putt himself around. But, man, 3, 4 wide back here. We are going back upstairs. I mean, look at this. Volusia Speedway, you are welcome, man. They are using every inch of this place here. 3, almost 4 wide up here in the front. That's that's Anthony Morano in the middle. Randall Dixon, Isaac Salas. Michael Vitale trying to work his way in there. 3 wide behind Butters, Samaconda. Dino gets into it a little bit with him. I mean, man, this is all over. Guys bouncing around. Greg Parmalee, I think he's going to try to get this. No, he's going to continue. I thought we were going to maybe try and get a caution here, but looks like he's going to try to nurse this thing around. So far, leaders coming. Able to stay to the inside for now. Greg did a good job staying out of the way. That could have been really nasty. There's 24 laps to go here at Volusia. Drivers have not settled down one bit. You're looking at Clay Christopherson right now, P4. Trying to get to the inside of that third place 9 of Brian Lawson. Lawson doing an excellent job right now, pinching the 51 down on entry, sliding up, letting the right rear catch that tack and just absolutely hammer it off the corners. You watch the racing coming out of 4. Putt right back down to that inside, and man, he's gonna lose another one here. It looks like to Randall Dixon. If he can't get it to work, I know he loves playing that long game. He's saving the tire. Man, you let too many guys get by, it's really difficult to pass here at Volusia, and I think that's why you're seeing other guys like Isaac here taking advantage of some of the FTM drivers being on the bottom in front of him. He's taking a peek to the outside. He's looking to the outside of the Ant-Man. Can he find a way to will that 213 in front of him a little quicker? Push him on by, but Isaac, he loses the grip in the center of the corner there. All of a sudden there you see the camera disappear. That's just him blinking ever so little. 3 wide in front of him there for a quick second. Anthony Morano thought he was going to fit that thing up in line with the blinking 5. Realized he was there. Had to tuck back in line. Brian Lawson. Man, he is feeling the pressure from behind. Let's see if Shaggy can remember which one I named that. There we go. I mean, look at this view. Clay Christopherson trying to take a peek. Randall Dixon all over that rear end. And man, Randall taking a look on the inside, but just can't find the grip. Let's find our hard charger here right now. It's the 444 Scott Rayome. Up 5 spots. Started 21st up to 16th. Shows you how hard of a racetrack it is to pass out here. In Volusia, you need a little bit of help. We've only had the one caution knock on whatever wood's near you. We want it to stay that way. Because this man out front, he hadn't won a small block modified race in his career until a couple weeks ago. And the man's out front pacing right now. Can we get this thing to stay green? Can Brian Dickens bring home another one? And can his teammate in the 218 follow him? Superman, Kurt Schatzer, not feeling any pressure at all either. Those two really are in their own league here at Volusia. Now, if you can get, it's no offense to the 9 of Lawson, but clearly corking it up a little bit. If the 51 can pop that cork out of the bottle, find a way on around, I think Clay Christopherson might have the speed. Another guy looking pretty quick there, the Sam Akonda in the 7. Samuel Bachman does a good way of just slithering his way around the bottom. Just not a lot of grip. Sam trying to find what is there. Trying to get a run on the inside of Isaac Salas. Ooh, thought about taking it 3 wide there for a second, but couldn't find the grip. Had to ease out of the throttle. And Brian Lawson feeling pressure once again. Randall Dixon's telling him to move on over. Trying to move into that 3rd and final podium spot here with 11 to go. Randall getting a good run off the bottom in 2, but off the bottom in 4, it's a different story. Not a lot of success over here for any driver running the bottom, and you just see Brian Lawson etch away, extend that lead a little more. Dean Reynolds trying to crack the top 10. He's back here in 11th, but the Philly Flyer, Trevor Giroux, is holding on firmly right now. Scott Rayome still only up those 6 spots. Scott not able to get any more back here in that 444 and really has to gnaw at that gap a little bit. I mean, Kelly's got enough room. He can make a mistake or two. As you see Kurt Schatzer running a 2nd off the rear bumper of his teammate in the 122 Brian Dickens. Back to P3 Brian Lawson. Man, oh man, this is I'm telling you, if DraftKings did coast to coast, FanDuel did coast to coast, if you had this, I'm telling you right now, if you put $10 on this podium before qualifying, before the night, jeez, be a rich man. This podium, this would not be a common podium here in C2C, and these guys just putting it together on the right night, hitting their marks, long green flag runs. They're showing that when they get out front, they can set the pace. 122 of Brian Dickens dominating here at Volusia. 5 laps to go. Isaac Salas in the 5. He's trying to find a way around Clay Christopherson. Clay, remember, started this race in 3rd, had fallen back to 6th, and he was one of the guys who I touched on. He was just riding that bottom, staying firm. I knew he'd be quicker here towards the end, but you let those guys around you. On a track that's difficult to pass at, even if you have that tire advantage, you're really looking for help. You're not going to be able to just do it on the advantage alone, and we're seeing that here. 3 laps to go for the man out front in the 122, Brian Dickens. This is our closest battle on the racetrack here towards the front. Can Randall Dixon find a way to get around Brian Lawson? He's got 8 more turns to do it. Watching the sand fall down the hourglass, Brian Lawson overdrives the corner a little bit. And through 3 and 4, Brian Dickens takes the white flag. We're going to have 1 caution here tonight at the Volusia Speedway. And Brian Dickens loving absolutely every second of it. Final time through 3 and 4. Welcome back to Victory Lane, Brian Dickens. Teammate Kurt Schatzer, P2, and Brian Lawson rounds out the podium. Randall Dixon 4th, and the Ant-Man Anthony Morano rounds out the top 5. Boy, oh boy, welcome back. And look at the teammates driving around here, getting their own fireworks show at Volusia. Hell of a run from these two. Absolutely unbelievable. Kurt gives him the little victory bump there. He says, Brian, I know, we ain't won a lot here, but you can pull that thing in the pits. Drive that sucker up there. But hey, they're just going to park it right on the front stretch. Nice and neat. And take a look at your podium here tonight at the Volusia Speedway. Heck of a race. After an early caution, these guys put the hammer down and really drove their tails off. Great run. And well, we'll see if we can get a word or two here with our top 3. Of course, 3rd being this man in the 9, Brian Lawson, not the 218 of Superman just yet. He's got to wait his turn. He did a little better than that tonight. Though he is up there first, so he wasn't very enticing. Now Brian Dickens is up there, so we got... All right, we're going to pull Brian up here. Brian, Shaggy in the booth, man. You got a copy?
What's up, Shaggy? How are you?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. It seemed like, talk to me. Give me your opinion. But we get out there, we have a caution early, and I'm thinking, this thing, we may get, our fair share of flags tonight. And boy, you guys smacked me in the face and ended up there going green flag. How tired are you?
I can sum it up pretty much in one thing. I wish I was in the second heat, because I knew damn well the groove was on the outside. The line was going to be on the outside. And I knew that I was a sit and duck at that start unless I got a really good start. And, Brian did what he had to do. He got a good start. I was a little late on the get-go. And, I tried to hold Kurt off coming off a 2, but, he was already there. So I left him enough room anyway. And, he got by me. I settled into 3rd and then actually dropped back by 4th and threw a slider on Clay, which I was surprised I actually made successful. But, he's not somebody you pass too often. But, all in all, a great race, man. It just, feels good to be on the podium. It's been a while.
Yeah, and with the way the track was racing here, I know obviously it's going to be a little bit of a a difference here. They'll reset the surface and stuff. But do you think we'll see anybody come back out here in a small block, or are we all going to take advantage of that big block the next go around?
I wondered that before, and I'm definitely taking the big block. Anything bigger like this, I think you're better off with the big block. And plus, since the practice will be shorter at this one than it is for the 358s, the track shouldn't be as wore in. So, and plus, not as many people show up for the big block. So I think the big block's the better one to go with, but we'll see,
Well, Brian, somebody had to represent for the sponsorship tonight. The only one to put it on the podium. So I'm sure before I kick you out of here, when you do your runoff, they'll mention them. But you'll mention them, excuse me.
Yeah.
But congratulations on the great run, Brian. It was a heck of a race. Like I say, I really did. After that first caution, I was like, well, maybe we're in for it. But man, you guys put it down. You're racing all over the track. Hell of a job, Brian. Who you want to thank?
Thanks, man. Got to thank you for doing the broadcast. Obviously the guys at Venom and the guys at FTM, we have a blast racing together, and thanks for them, joining up with us and sponsoring this. Got to give a shout out to Regency Home Inspections, Page Lumber and Home Centers, Super Dirt Car Series, Magnum Race Design, and Coast to Coast Racing League.
Well, hey, hell of a run, Brian. And, man, hopefully I'm talking to you after this big block race, brother. Go get him.
I hope so. Thanks, bud. Talk to you soon.
That's Brian Lawson there, your P3 finisher. And now we're going to bring up the man who had the cape flapping tonight. Kurt, man, lap 1 and 2. You and Brian, I mean, could it have gone any better for you two? Hell of a jump there, Kurt.
Yeah, how about that, Shaggy there? Dirt track bank 1 and 2. Yeah, we had a good start. I mean, got lucky with track position, being able to start up closer to the front there, and we both had a good start. Lucky that the line was up high in 1 and 2, and able to get out there to the good start there. And yeah, I was just sweating the yellow if they came out. We managed to time that one restart good, and I was able to protect second there. But yeah, I mean, it was just lucky.
Yeah, now, I know you're looking out that windshield, okay, but as you guys gapped on that restart and you're closer to Brian, is there any devil on your shoulder telling you to make that move, or are you just focused on protecting 1-2 at that point? I mean, what are you thinking?
Nah, if the chances presented itself, I would have definitely took it. It was a little early there. I was just trying to keep close to him, and I just made one line change, and he managed to gap me a little bit, and from there on, I was never able to really get it back. I tried a couple moves, but nothing really. He was on it. He buckled down here lately. He used to focus in on the sprint cars, but he wanted to focus in on the mods now, and he's our setup guy, and he's really focused, and he was fast tonight. I didn't have nothing for him.
Yeah, pretty unbelievable. I didn't realize until earlier this season when he won. This was the first time he's ever won one of these and not click off another one so fast. Everybody else better watch out for that 122. But Kurt, hell of a run tonight, man. Able to run 1-2 for the team. I know how good that feels. Haven't been part of many of those, but the few that I've been a part of, man, they feel good. They last a while. So congratulations. Good run. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank Jay with Dirt Track Bank, everything they do to support racers all around the country. Our iRacing team, Hammer Down Racing, Brian, Joe, Brandon, Got Your Six Racing Network, Friday Night Lights. We got a special race going on here this Friday, so if anybody want to tune in, check that out. I think they're racing for some money over there. I don't know if you'll be a part of any of the broadcasts or not, but we like to thank you for everything you do to do the broadcasts. The league sponsors, Venom Racing and FTM.
Are we calling Isaac the favorite going into Friday night? Would he be the betting favorite? Who do we think's the favorite going into Friday?
Yeah, that's who my money am. I'm going to root on Isaac there to bring it on home for the Coast to Coast boys.
All right, but you can't sleep on that Barry kid though, man. You really can't.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent over there. The Carters, Barry, I forget a few other names over there, but yeah, if anyone want to check it out, then that's a good place to go race.
Yeah, it definitely is. And well, as well as I do, they're affiliated with Coast to Coast. So if you're not part of Friday Night Lights, definitely go over there, check it out. Awesome league. But congratulations, Kurt. good run tonight, man. And are you gonna suit up here in the big box?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll check on see what's going on here. It's tempting. You might see me over there.
All right. Well, I hope I do. Good luck if you're out there, Kurt.
Thank you.
That's Kurt Schatzer, your P2 finisher. And now we're gonna bring up his teammate here in the 122. Brian, it didn't take you long to get back here, man. Second time in victory lane this season, and boy, oh boy, you wiped the floor with everybody tonight, man. How you feeling?
Thanks, Zach. I'm feeling really good.
Well, I mean, all right, so you get out. I'm going to ask you basically the same thing I asked everybody else, okay? Early on, we get that caution. Now, you and your teammate, luckily, you get out the 1-2. But are you really thinking at that point, after an early caution, hey, we're going to go out here and run 27 laps, green flag?
Nope, and it feels like 67.
That was my next question, man. This is a bigger racetrack, and I know people think, oh yeah, we're sitting on the computer, blah blah blah. Some of us, we got them force feedback wheels, man. That's a fight. And realistically, those long green flag runs, how are you feeling? You tired?
My left fingertips are numb. They hadn't come back yet.
Well, it ended just in time, man. And what is it about Volusia? I mean, you really were. You're the class of the field. I mean, go out there in your heat races. Nobody could touch you. And even your teammate there, you left him in the dust. And Kurt had the rest of everybody else by a whole second. So what was it about the racetrack tonight you liked?
I like Volusia a lot. I liked it a lot when I ran it in sprint cars. I've adapted pretty good on its modified here. But I don't know. It's always been one of my favorites. And the slicker the racetrack is, the better I'm going to be. That's what I like. I love it. I hate it when it's got any tack to it anywhere, really. But the racetrack was like I love it tonight.
Now, you say you like a tacky racetrack. What is it about it that you like? Do you find yourself beating people driving into the corner, or do you find yourself, beating them coming off? What do you prefer about the slick racetracks?
I don't know. It's just I like to really finesse it. I like the throttle control of it and everything. I don't know. It just comes good to me. I like it. The tacky, I don't know. These cars are just so tight when it's really tacky. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's a little different for me. We race in the slick all the time in the leagues. So it's not like officials and stuff. So I don't know. I just more used to the slick, and I don't know. I adapt to it better.
Well, Brian, really your first time running this thing pretty regularly, man. You got the field on watch. Second win, and you dominated tonight. Not many people have been able to come out and dominate this name, all these names in this small block division like that. What you did was damn impressive. Congratulations to you and Kurt on the 1-2. Who you want to thank, brother?
Got to thank that Dirt Track Bank, of course. Everything they do for us, our league, everything they do for dirt track racing in general. Hammer Down Racing, my boys from the beginning, Kurt, BT, and Joe. Thank them a lot. Have a lot of fun with those guys. My On Edge Racing guys that I race mostly asphalt with, and some of them have come over here and had some fun with us. Coast to Coast for everything they do, everything behind the scenes. It's a greatly run league. We really appreciate it. I want to thank FTM and Venom for the sponsorship. I want to thank you for the broadcast, and I want to thank Jared Jackson for doing this paint for me this week. It's kind of like a throw to our kart racing that we do, X Factor Motorsports and X Factor Preps. So that's what that's about. But I appreciate it.
Yeah, you stole my thunder there. That's how I was going to end this, with how, if you go back and watch this thing, I complimented that paint job probably 5 or 6 times. That thing looks absolutely phenomenal. And to come out and win it in your debut, man, you may have to run this thing for a while. But congratulations, Brian, and can't wait to talk to you again, my man.
All right, thanks, brother.
Brian Dickens, your 358 modified feature winner. Presented to you by Full Throttle Motorsports and the Venom Racing teams. And we're going to be back for part 2. We're going to take a quick little break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. show a couple advertisements, and we'll be right back with the big block modifieds here at Volusia Speedway. Stick around.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get. Tonight we'll be talking about it.
Outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash, found out my brain was swelling and bleeding, pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network with the Big Block Modifieds presented by Atlantic Management Resources here at the Volusia Speedway. Only 18 drivers in this one. Let's see if we can find any on the racetrack in a different session. We can't. They're all hanging out, relaxing here in pit road. So, just me, myself, and you right now until they decide to kick this thing off here. Shouldn't be too long here. The last race, Brian Dickens able to bring home his second feature win of the season. Thought we might see him and his Superman, or in his teammate, Superman Kurt Schatzer. We do have Kurt. Kurt decided to unload and get out here. Not sure if he's going to run. We got Clay Christopherson out there as well. Those guys didn't put in many laps, though. That's why I was highlighting them specifically. As we get ready to roll into qualifying here. See who pulls out on the racetrack first. Looking like it's going to be the Philly Flyer. Trevor Giroux. Let's take a peek here. That 075 as he rolls through 3 and 4. These guys, most of them will have the big blocks out now, so they're going to rip that inside, or that outside, excuse me, especially coming to the green flag. Really try to bring up as much speed as they can, and if they want to run that bottom middle, we'll stick with Trevor here for lap 2, just for at least turn 1. If he stays up top, we'll swap. But yeah, see, this is the difference. So he's still quick time, but this is when you use lap 2. You take the advantage of the speed you gain from running on the outside of 1 and 2, and you see it's a little slower for the Philly Flyer, so not going to pay off as Mike Brewer takes quick time. 1 lap and then possibly taps the wall, pulls it in, but Superman. Welcome back, Kurt Schatzer. He qualifies 3rd. Michael Vecchio in the 247. We watch him go down the backstretch. Final time through 3 and 4. Isaac Salas, purple, sector 1. Oh, he's blinking a little bit. It's going to give him credit for the time. I was worried it wouldn't give him credit. But he gets credit for P2. Slower through Sector 1 the second time around. Doesn't look like he's going to improve for 2. But what do I know? He does. Isaac Salas still going to stay P2. Even though that second sector does improve overall. As we see qualifying wrap up, Mike Brewer, Isaac Salas, Trevor Giroux, Kurt Schatzer, Harold Klump, your top 5. Randall Dixon, Michael Vitale, Jason Butterfield will be in those coveted transfer spots. We take a look here at the starting lineup for heat race number 1. Rounding out the field inside of row number 5 in the 56, Randy Shreves. Row number 4 on the outside, Blackjack John Tobias in the 21. And to his inside, the 79 of Dean Reynolds. Row number 3 on the outside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. And to his inside, the 051 of Clay Christopherson. Row number 2 to the outside, your pole winner, the 390 of Mike Brewer. And to his inside, the 075 of the Philly Flyer, Trevor Giroux. Row number 1 for heat race number 1. Winner starts on the pole for tonight's feature on the outside, the deuce of Harold Klump. And starting on the pole in the 213, Michael Vitale. Looks like we're still waiting on Putt here. Have to see if he makes the call. As you see there, just third row inside, Clay Christopherson not there yet. There he is, the 051. He hits the teleport button, shows up just in time, and thought we were going to be missing Clay there for a second. But it's actually nice when they do that, you know? Cool, calm, here coming to the line. Dino. He yanks it down into the inside wall. Not too sure what's going on with Dino. He's having a steering issue. Yeah, Dean Reynolds, he's going to have to tow this thing. 79 not cooperating, and he just got that new computer. He was running the sprint cars last night. Finished on the podium a couple times. But now, just no luck. Green flag's high. It's ready to fly. Heat race number 1 of the AMR Big Block Modifieds is underway. Contact early on there. John Tobias, you see him shaking out, but we're not ticking away from the lead. 3 wide. The Philly Flyer through 3 and 4, taking the bottom. Michael Vitale to the middle, and Harold Klump washes back to P3, and now he's looking at maybe falling back to 4th as here comes Mike Brewer, but the Philly Flyer not going away as he's still up and down on the inside. Thinks about a slide job's got a lift in the middle of 3 and 4. Was at the door, but give it to the 213 of Michael Vitale. Clay Christopherson trying to race his way in. Everybody going to make the show tonight. Only 18. Shouldn't need a big B main, here in the Big Block Modified. So drivers just need to be patient. You don't want to make any enemies. And Trevor Giroux, he wasn't patient. He threw that slide job. Michael Vitale goes up, gives him a little door. The Philly Flyer coming back for more, sends it back in on the outside. And he don't scare that easy. Is there 3 wide behind him? Harold Klump humming on the outside. Here comes Clay Christopherson in the middle. Mike Brewer, remember, he was your pole winner. Clearly quick out here, almost clips the tires there on the pit road opening. Going as low as you can go. The FTM driver battling side by side with his teammate in the 51, and Michael Vitale. He's going to take a peek down to his left. He's going to see the brew downstairs. And can Mike will himself on by as Trevor Giroux, the Canadian, the mastermind out there. He's got all these Americans working against each other, and he's taking the white flag as Brewer clips that pit road opening, and you knew he got close before. Putt looking to the outside as we go through 3 and 4 for the final time. Trevor Giroux rips the middle. He's going to start on the pole. Putt gets P2. Oh, Vitale 3rd, Brewer 4th, Klump 5th, Shreve 6th, Barker 7th, Tobias 8th, and Dino able to get back out there. Most likely, unless he was driving it straight, he got the wheel fixed. So good thing there for Dino, but not what we wanted to have happen. And Oh, the grid didn't want to behave there again. Inside of row number 5, rounding out the field, the 7 of Bob the Good. Row number 4 on that top shelf, the 9 of Brian Lawson. Into his inside, the 444 of Scott Rayon. Row number 3 to the outside, the 007 of Sam Bachman. Into his inside, the 247 of Michael Vecchio. Row number 2 on the outside, slide job, Isaac Salas. And to his inside, the 218 of Superman, Kurt Schatzer. Row number 1 for heat race number 2. Winner starts on the outside of the front row. On the outside, the 011 of Randall Dixon. And to his inside, the 93 of Butters, Jason Butterfield. Pace around here at the Volusia Speedway. Final time through 3 and 4. That's Steve King Foundation pace car. Gonna pull down pit road, and you see the green flag is high. Boy, it's ready to fly. Here we go. Heat race number 2 at Volusia Speedway. Butters with a good jump. Kurt trying to latch on by, and he gets into it with the 011. Isaac, he's trying to move on by with him. He might as well take advantage. He's not the one that got into Randall. He does. He moves on up into P3, and all of a sudden, the man on the outside, oh, Brian Lawson sends it in. He gets into Vecchio. Vecchio's going to lose a spot to the Sam Akonda there. The 007, Sam Bachman, taking a peek on the inside. Can Bachman get one more? Trying to find his way around Lawson as we look up front. Single file here through the top 4. That is your battle. Brian Lawson, for now, able to hold off that 007. And if you're Sam, how hard do you fight? You don't want to keep going at him on the bottom because you see that car behind you. The 247 of Michael Vecchio getting a lot bigger. And here comes someone he's very familiar with. His teammate in the 444, Scott Rayon, but him and Vecchio touch. Vecchio turns down the racetrack as the 444 is there. And Scott Rayon says, buddy, I'm home. I'm driving on by. And we keep on rolling. 4 laps to go. Kurt Schatzer finished P2 in the 358 modifieds. Well, had to play second fiddle to his teammate, Brian Dickens. He'd love to go win this thing. Brian, not here for the big block. Kurt all on his own, but he needs to find a way around Butters in this 93 so he can start on the outside of the front row for tonight's feature. Superman knows how pivotal that is, but he's running out of corners. Running down the backstretch, 6 more laps left to play. Or corners left to play, excuse me. 1 lap to go here. Superman sends it down low on the bottom. Kurt, can he find the grip to pull even? The answer's no. Can't even stay to the inside. And Kurt, he's got to go high. He's got to protect. Final time through 3 and 4. Butters holds on. Kurt Schatzer P2. Isaac Salas, Randall Dixon, Brian Lawson, Sam Bachman, Scott Rayon, Bob the Good, and Michael Vecchio. And, well, to be honest, I muted myself waiting for this grid to pop up, and I forgot. Warm-up time. We're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we will be right back with your big block modified features. Stick around. Well, I'm telling you. Oh, man. If you could have only heard me. I can't believe I was muted that long. Very embarrassed. My apologies. Let's try this one more time. Well, we're back. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Atlantic Management Resources Big Block Modified feature at Volusia Speedway. And we got to do this quick now since I was muted. Row number 9 on the outside, the 247 of Michael Vecchio. And to his inside, the 79 of Dean Reynolds. Row number 8 on the top shelf, the 7 of Bob DeGood. And to his inside, the 21 of Blackjack John DeBias. The 444 lines up on the outside of row number 7. That's Scott Rayome. And to his inside, the Brewerton Beast, the Jeff Barker in the 513. I clicked the wrong button. My apologies once again. Here, I'm flustered. Got to go quick. Slow it down more. Row number 6 on the outside, the 007, Sam Bachman. Into his inside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. Row number 5 to the outside, Brian Lawson in the 9. On the inside, the Deuce of Harold Klum. Row number 4 on the top shelf, the 011, Randall Dixon. On the inside, the 390, Mike Brewer. Row number 3 on the top shelf, slide job, Isaac Salas. And to his inside, Michael Vitale. Row number 2, Superman on the top shelf, Kurt Schatzer. Into his inside, Papa Clay Christopherson. Row number 1 on the outside, the 93 of Butters, Jason Butterfield. And starting on the pole, the Philly Flyer in the 075, Trevor Giroux. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 30 laps to play in the clay at Volusia Speedway. We're underway. Oh, Trevor with the good jump through 1 and 2. That's how you do it. Slide up there and take the lead. And here comes Putt Putt trying to join the party. 3 wide through 3 and 4. What's going to happen? Oh, boy, Mike Brewer. He's trying to get that 390. I know the Brew Crew's out there watching, and they'd love to see Brewer move on up. But, oh, we've seen this once before. And it wasn't Barker's fault at all in the opener, but he's involved in a caution early, and well, we know what happened in the small block race after Jeff Barker was involved in a caution early. 27 laps, green flag. Oh, this doesn't look good. This doesn't look good, and it's not good. Hard into that wall. Blackjack gets around. Ooh, Vecchio barely gets around. Bob DeGood, he watches the massacre. But Jeff Barker loops it, toes it. Caution flag waves, but man, oh man, Jeff Barker, he may be done for the rest of the evening. That 513 tough break. No, look at it. Here he comes, Jeff Barker. He's back. Plenty of time to spare. Lights still on the Steve King Foundation pace car. So, heck, I thought he might miss that. But you tow right away, you're rewarded. Able to get out. Get back on the racetrack. Good deal for the 513. Lights will go off on the Steve King Foundation pace car, as you see. Roll through 1 and 2 for the final time under caution. We'll have to see what the driver's plans are here. Drop the hammer. We should have 28 laps to go. The Venom Racing 75 will set the pace as we watch the Steve King Foundation pace car pull off. Trevor can fire any time, and he does now. Great restart for the Philly Flyer. And he's looking for this thing to stay green. He wants to drive off into the sunset, and maybe his teammate in that 5 can join him. They're 3 wide in front, and here he comes, cape flapping in the breeze. Kurt Schatzer making the big move on the top shelf. Looking to go on up to P2. Brewer slides up in front of the 051. And Kurt just overdrives the entry of 1 a little too hard. Finds himself slipping up in the center. And now he's looking at those two running side by side. He had his chance, and I know Superman, he is going to be kicking himself. But Dean Reynolds in the 79. This man, getting the memory banks. Where'd he start? I'll tell you. 17th. Look at him. He's up to 8th already, up 9 spots. The 79 came ready to play. And they better hope he don't get too many cautions to re-rack him with the rest of the field. Because Dino, he is quick here in that 79. Oh, Kurt Schatzer takes a peek there. He's in the middle, 3 wide. He's got to crack the throttle. He was bumping with Butters in that 93. And here comes Dino, one more of 10 spots. Move the 79 up to P7. Clay Christopherson, he looks off that front nose, and he's got a 1 second gap. I mean, he ain't used to looking at that. And Trevor Giroux, he's going to be enjoying every second. The Canadian taking the stars and stripes to school tonight here at Volusia. I mean, came all the way down south to whip up on us, and he's doing exactly that. Dino, he was up to 7. Stayed committed to the inside. Superman's kind of hugging him down a little bit. He's falling back to 8. And Isaac Salas, all of a sudden, looking to the outside, says, how's it going, Dino? Mike Brewer trying to move on up into that 3rd and final podium spot, but Mike Vitale not going away here, running well. You see Brewer just can't keep up coming off the corner. Doesn't have that exit speed, and Michael Vitale trying to hunt down the 051, who was just watching that lead grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Trevor Giroux absolutely putting on a clinic here. 17 laps to go for the 075. As they're 3 wide here. Oh, here comes Mike Brewer. He was flirting with trying to get into 3rd, but now he's trying to go 2 for. And he's going to do just that. Mike Brewer, welcome to the middle step of the podium. We still got halfway to play here at Volusia, but I told you, knock on that piece of wood. Barker was involved in the caution in the small blocks. Then we went green. Barker's involved in the caution in the big blocks. You know, none really his fault. Just happens. Oh no, the commentators goes, there it goes. Scott Rayom contact in the 444. And just like that, 3rd caution of the night. 2nd caution in the big block modifieds. As Scott Rayom just tries to get a run. And, you know, Kurt doesn't know he's there. He's racing like he normally does. A little bit of contact. Scott hard into the wall. Goes around. No choice but for a caution flag to wave. And Trevor Giroux, he is going to be real disappointed because now it becomes 2 cautions breed cautions. And we don't necessarily want that to happen, but as guys, you know, we get to this point in the race, patience are worn a little bit. So you're going to see people getting aggressive, and while we're all clumped up, trying to get as many spots as they can. Trevor leads the field into 3 and 4 here. Lights still on in the Steve King Foundation pace car, so not ready to play just yet here at Volusia Speedway. Almost. And when we do take that green flag, we'll have 14 laps to go. So buckle up, pull those seat belts tight. Lights are off. And we get ready to roll. See the track start to light up here. Here comes the Steve King Foundation pace car. Gonna pull off, and the Philly Flyer chooses the bottom one more time. Gonna lead us to the green flag. Does he go early? Does he wait? Goes early again. Same spot as last time. And when I say early, I don't mean he's jumping by any means. He can just wait as long as he wants. And going a little earlier in the window, but it's working out for him. So the Philly Flyer at the halfway point, still leading the way. As boy, oh boy, the wick is turned up behind him. Randy Shreves, there was a little contact in front, guys. Then bouncing around, going around. Blackjack was the car sitting backwards with the caution, but we saw. Started a little ways up the road, so let's see here. So Randall Dixon was already in the wall at that point in time. Try and rewind this a tad. So there's just a little contact up front. Randall gets into the back of Dino, gets into that outside wall. Harold Klump, nowhere to go, gets into the back of him. Stomps the brakes, the Brewerton Beast, then that's where he gets involved. And just really a stack up. I mean, a couple cars going to go around. It really stinks. Nobody can't really, blame, not that we try to, but you can't blame one driver for that. That's just guys racing hard, trying to put the car where they can to get those spots. Tough break. Trevor Giroux out front, setting the pace. This man, he's done very, very well this season, and really, normally is a shoe-in for the podium, but just over the past couple seasons, a bit of inconsistencies. Getting beat around, not necessarily his fault. Involved in different accidents, but doing a good job. Shaking it off, getting right back at it week in and week out, and he's already won once this season, if not twice. Looking for another one. As the Steve King Foundation pace car pulls off, 12 laps to play in the clay of Volusia Speedway. He drops the hammer, and we're back underway. Mike Brewer, can he go take a bite at that apple, man? Trevor's dangling it. But he gets such a good run off the top shelf that you can send it in there on entry. And unless you find a way to get that grip that the 075 has, you're not going to be able to flirt with him. Trevor Giroux doing a phenomenal job out front as Dino tries to take a peek under the 5 of Isaac Salas. Really the first guy to think about making a move here in this line, and now that entices Isaac to go for it. But he's blinking away, so he's going to have to be patient, and he knows that, doesn't want to get anybody into any trouble. You hop up towards the front, Mike Brewer. He hasn't let Trevor escape, and you got to think, is he waiting? Does he have a chance to strike? Mike Brewer throws it low through 3 and 4. Just can't get the run, but with 8 to go, he's licking his lips. And the Philly Flyer, he's got to be getting nervous there in that 075. The run off 4, no real battles, all kind of single file there until the back. Until now, Mike Brewer thinks about the slide job once again. Can't get it done. But Mike, man, he is licking his chops now. He's going for that big run off the top shelf in 3 and 4. And we're going to see him eventually try to set up another slide job. If he's still peaking on this outside, what he's trying to do is just build up momentum. and find a way to wheel that thing on by, but he's also getting a little bit of help from behind. Michael Vitale, he's ready to play here in the 213. And now he's taking a peek under Brewer. Michael Vitale, welcome to the party, the 213, 4 to go. Butters looking down to the inside is Dino and Isaac. But that's just Isaac blinking, so we're going to go back to the front. We thought there was a good battle on our hands. Butters there, he sends it in a little deep. He gets into Vitale. Shreves then lifts. That allows Putt to reel him in. And now Randy thinking about taking a peek here, but going through 3 and 4. Brewer's got one last time. Can the crew rally him on by? Can they wheel that 390? 2 laps to play. He sends it in. Just not able to find it. Loses a lot of time coming off of 2. And now as we roll through 3 and 4, Trevor Giroux, big old smile on his face. He sees that white flag as Shaggy's lagging a little bit apparently because everyone's going off. Terrible time to load. Lag. This is absolutely ridiculous. Final time through 3 and 4. And Trevor Giroux holds on to bring it home. As I promise you, what you're seeing is what I'm seeing. These guys disappear. I cannot believe that's going to be the last lap that I get here. But Trevor Giroux, shame on me. You're able to get it done, even though the connection looks like it's being a little spoiled on my end. And it's got to be iRacing here. We'll have to ask these guys. No, you know what? Let's here. We're gonna hop this off. But Trevor Giroux, Mike Brewer, Michael Vitale, your top 3. Sorry about that sketchy ending. I wish I could take a look here. No, their qualities are all good. So it was definitely. Yeah, it's gonna be a connection issue from my end because, as you see, we fast forward here. And the whole last lap is gonna look like this for me. So. Well, what a bummer. What a bummer. We're not going to rain on their parade here, though. Great run by the Philly Flyer. Congratulations to Trevor Giroux. And oh, dagnabbit. That's a real bummer. But hey, you know, that's the way it goes in the virtual world sometimes. And we're going to see if we can get the man in the 213 to find his way on up here. Get a word with Michael Vitale. Managed to race his way on up into the top 3 at the end and really steal his way on into this thing. We'll pull him on up here. Hey, Michael, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
I got a copy, Shaggy.
Well, I mean, you know, here, Mike, but typical Vitale race, you know, the beginning. You just hang out, man. You know, you don't need to go right away. And it seemed like at the end, you had one of the quickest cars on the racetrack. It just was tough to pass. You're able to get on up into the podium. But how'd the car feel?
Well, I felt really good towards the end there. Honestly, I was trying to line up Mike from possible slider, but I just couldn't get the gap close enough to really pull it off. But yeah, no, I saved tires. I kind of lost a few positions early, but I figured at the end, if I had anything, that's where it would come out. But I definitely felt fast at the end. I don't know if I had anything for Mike or Trevor, but definitely felt faster later.
Yeah, man. What is it about this racetrack, too? Both races tonight. I mean, not that I'm complaining. Absolute fan. Love it. I know it's a little tiring, but the long green flag runs, I mean, how much fun are they out there battling side by side with the guys?
Oh, that's what makes it the best. You know, when you can get some long green flag runs and you know, you're door to door going in these corners, pulling off, and it's a blast. You know, it just allows you a lot more time to really, you know, make some smart moves rather than short, you know, you caution, you're just trying to make a move to make a spot. So it gives you a little more time to think.
Well, man, able to put that 213 on the podium again this season. Congratulations, Mike. Great run tonight. Who you want to thank?
I want to thank everybody at Vitale Motorsports, my teammates, Billy Roberts over Gears Unlimited, Randy, Jake, my brother Anthony, my wife for letting me do this, and day in and day out. You for putting on the broadcast, and Coast to Coast for giving us a place to run.
Well, hey, hell of a run, Michael, and hopefully I'm talking to you again next week, brother. Good luck.
All right, thank you, and congrats to Trevor. Nice run.
Michael Vitale, your third place finisher, and now we're going to bring up the second Mike here, Mike Brewer. Mike, it seemed like you were quick, man, but at a racetrack that's tough to pass at, by the time you gnawed your way on up to second, just wasn't enough time left.
I was definitely faster than Trevor there. I was trying everything I could to get around him and clean, and he did a good job of blocking those for sure, but he ran a hell of a race. And Mike there, appreciate us running clean there. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Volusia, obviously, sometimes it can turn into a little bit of a one-lane racetrack, especially when you need to float up on the exit. But is there anything more you could have done short of move him out of the way to find a way to get around?
I think 5 more laps, I think, because I could get onto him, and I'm terrible at slide jobs, so I gotta know for certain I'm gonna clear him, because I don't race dirty like that, so I want to make sure I can get past him clean. So I think 5 more laps I could have set him up. So I don't know who's to tell, but it was still a lot of fun.
I'll tell you what, man, not the easiest night here for the Full Throttle Motorsports guys. You guys normally own these podiums, sometimes 6 out of 6 spots throughout the night, but you're able to snag this one, bring home a PT for you, P2 for you and the teammates. Congratulations, Mike. I know you got a lot of fans out there watching tonight. Who you want to thank?
See you guys, Coast to Coast Racing. Say it every week. Great group of guys. Ton of fun putting the broadcast out. Got a bunch of family watching, so it's cool. They're always texting me, "Is there a race tonight?" And it gives them something to do. And yeah, you guys for putting this on. The guys there at Full Throttle Motorsports for bringing me on last week. Known them for a couple of years now, but great group of guys. Ton of fun. Dino over there, Super Dirt Car. Swan Speed Shop. Yeah, just everybody that makes this possible.
Well, hey, hell of a run, Mike. Love having you here. Congratulations on another podium. Can't wait to talk to you again next week, man.
Yeah, hopefully we can get lucky enough and get a podium again.
There we go,
Appreciate
Mike. Good luck.
Thank you.
That's Mike Brewer, your P2 finisher. Now we're going to bring up the winner, the man of the hour, the Philly Flyer, Trevor. It seemed like it was a repeat of that small block race, man, but this time you had a 122 painted on the side, and you just took the field to school. You were quick out front. How'd it feel?
Felt good, man. I love this track. I wish I wish it was more racy, but yeah, I love this track. I love these cars, and set ourselves up pretty good in the heat to win it there and start out front and never look back. And it definitely wasn't as easy as I wanted it to be, especially with Mike back there. And I know he's fast. I've raced with him a little bit, and yeah, I kind of wanted that race to end at like 20 laps, but well, definitely happy right now.
Obviously, coulda, woulda, shoulda, and you bring home the checkered flag anyways. But at what point are you thinking to yourself, maybe I pushed this a little bit too hard in the middle of the race? You had a big lead, and that caution there with like 10 to go wipes it out, and all of a sudden, man, you got to play some defense.
Yeah, honestly, I was with about 15 or so to go, 10 to go. I'm kind of thinking to myself, where my tires are at. I didn't really feel off or anything like that, but I started the race towards the middle and top, and then Clay was on my inside, so I knew the bottom was going to be there. So I ran the bottom for a good majority of the race. And then, like I said, with 10 to go there, I'm wondering where my tires are at, hoping that running the bottom for a good portion of the race was going to, preserve some tire there. And then with those restarts, that's when I can judge where my tires are at. Especially if I'm spinning, I know, okay, I'm kind of screwed. But once White kind of ran me down, I kind of had a feeling like, maybe I did push it a little too hard, especially when I had a decent lead. And yeah, actually, I'll check what my tires are at right now. Honestly, 75 on the right rear, so not as bad as I thought. But you know what? Either way, we'll definitely take it tonight. Good run for Venom here. So
Yeah, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And Trevor, points racing, you know, man, they add up. You keep racking them up. And this is no shot at anybody else who goes back and listens to this. But really, man, this is the first time I think tonight. I mean, Mike Brewer, he may become a familiar face, but you're the first familiar face on the podium tonight. This has been quite the strange night. A lot of guys taking advantage of good track position. But Trevor, congratulations on a great win tonight. You earned it. Who you want to thank, brother?
Oh, just gotta thank all the guys at Venom. Pretty good showing for us tonight. Hopefully take this in the pro lates, but just gotta thank Dean Reynolds with the Super Dirt Car Series, RSM Trackside, Big Tim Race Wraps, LDS, everyone who comes on board my race cars every season. Appreciate everybody who takes the time to allow me to do this stuff. Everyone at C2C. You, Shaggy, for putting on these broadcasts. You know me, I love going back and watching. So when you're in the booth, I know it's going to be a good one. So appreciate everything you do, Shaggy. I don't think people tell you that enough, but just know I mean it.
Well, appreciate it, Trevor. And man, when you guys put on a good show, it makes my job easy. You guys did that tonight. Great, clean racing up front. Congratulations on the win, man. And we'll see what happens. I might plug in my steering wheel for this pro late. We'll see.
Come on out, brother. I'd love to see you out there.
All right. Good luck out there, Trevor.
Thanks, Shaggy. Take care.
And now, I always throw him on the spot, so there's always a chance he's not here. So we can't ever blame him if he isn't. But, Travis, your fellow broadcast partner up here in the booth, man, you got a copy?
I am here, and I am ready to go at Volusia.
I'll tell you what, man. I think I'm ready to go too. After we do the switch over, I'm itching, man. Been watching Volusia racing on the TV. I'm gonna put the wheel in. I think I'm gonna go out there and play a little bit tonight.
Well, with that, everyone, stay tuned. We're gonna take a quick break here, and you're gonna be able to see Shaggy on the track here with the Pro Late models.
Yep. So I'll throw up this video here quick. Travis and I'll do the switch, but stick around and thanks for tuning into my portion. And like Travis said, I'm gonna go out here, hit the racetrack a little bit. Have some fun.